As we've been tracking the release of GT4, the PlayStation Underground has tried to keep you up to date with all the inside info on the upcoming version of the world's foremost driving game. Gran Turismo continues to upgrade and create new features within the game. The team at Polyphony Digital always adds extra touches that keep their games fun and interesting. Here's some of what you can expect, starting with the human touch.
Polyphony
Digital has always had the idea that once we got the cars right, the next goal would be to improve the people you see in the game. We've been researching this for a long time. For Gran Turismo 4, we've used the physics engine to attempt a new technique for the animation of human movement. For example, previously, convertible cars were driven with the top closed. That was because we were not technically able to show the driver operating inside the car. In this version, the convertible cars will have a recognizable driver. Also, there are spectators beside the course. Before, they were like billboards.
To carry that notion of cheering one step further, the GT4 player might want to tune into GTTV.
Gran
Turismo, the franchise, has been a combination of two main factors. One was the actual driving that players experienced, and one was the replays that the game provides immediately after each race, both of which are exciting, great fun, and very nice to look at. And there were many people who play a certain race with a certain car just because they want to see the replay. With GTTV, players don't have to worry about driving the car. They could be eating something or relaxing and still watch their own creation being driven by someone else on a live TV broadcast or replay. Or they could just drive the car themselves. Although Gran Turismo is a driving simulator that requires driving skill, we wanted to create a game which could be enjoyed by people around the world who like the cars but don't have the driving skills.
If your idea of excitement includes ogling some of the great cars of the past, GT4 will include a museum feature where you can scope out some of the classics.
If you want to see the classic cars of today, oftentimes you have to go to a museum exhibition. So, I thought it only natural to have a museum in the game for classic cars.
From the historic to the modern, GT4 will have an improved artificial intelligence system that will help make the racing experience even closer to the real thing. For example, if you start to drift towards a competitor, their car will take evasive maneuvers. But cars will develop a memory. If you mess with them too much, they'll come after you. And we'll come after you if you don't check out track GT4 in the next issue, where we'll have an update on the great new features in Gran Turismo 4.
Prepare for the extreme and let the mud fly. It's all the dirt, air, and engine revs of ATV Off-Road Fury 1 and 2 turned up a notch.
So audio is so important in video games these days, is to make the whole package. You know, you have great graphics, great AI, and the missing element in a lot of video games has been great audio.
ATV Off-Road Fury 3 will change that. The game's production team is on a sound gathering mission.
Today's sound recording process, we've gathered about 5 or 6 riders, 10 ATVs, and what we're doing is gathering sound for ATV 3, and that sound from just different types of engines, your 4-stroke, 2-stroke, sounds from all the bikes taken off from the starting gate, crash sounds, just a bunch of different sounds that we'll need for the ATVs throughout the game.
Even the pros are impressed with the lengths they're going to capture the authenticity of the sound.
I've seen so many types of illustrations of ATVs and motorcycles depicted on video games, and you have a 2-stroke sound with a 4-stroke bike, and vice versa. You have an open bore bike or a larger displacement bike, sound mixed with a little 80cc bike, and it just takes away all the genuineness of the game.
Without the audio there, you're missing half the experience. It's that part that draws you into playing the game.
To achieve this level of acoustic realism requires more than just a day at the track with a mic.
To attain sounds in this game, we've developed a new piece of software that's internal called a crossfader, and it allows us to crossfade between various levels of engine.
You got it pretty good.
In the old days, we had one sound, and it was either played fast or slow. Now we can go from one different type of engine to another, so it's a very smooth transition, and we'll be able to duplicate very specific things thanks to this new piece of software that we have. Well, the biggest obstacle in the past has been memory space, and trying to get a realistic sound with a very small amount of space has always been a problem. But now, because of the crossfade tool, we're able to create a lot more variety in the engines with very small loops, thus allowing us to have, we plan on having 6 to 8 motorcycle sounds that are unique at all times during the game.
The upcoming title aims for enhanced realism on all levels, and to achieve that, they've enlisted the sport's top guns.
What makes the game more real? Well, one of the things is that we're coming out here talking to pro riders. We're getting much more of a feel of what happens in real life.
You know, it's something to be said to have guys that really ride, that are really out at the track on a week-by-week basis, and really get to travel around and hang out with all the top pro riders, you know, instead of just some guy sitting behind a desk with a computer that has no clue about the game. So it's something that it gives it a lot of street cred, per se, or I guess dirt cred maybe, being that we're out at a motocross track.
I create the tracks for the title. I'm conducting interviews with the riders themselves and trying to get inside their head and try to get the actual gameplay experience of what it's like.
We want to see the authenticity there rather than just show 3 or 4 different color bikes. Actually show what the bikes do, how they work up and over the jumps. Get the same type of action on that game and emulate what a bike really does out there. It makes it tremendously more believable for the people who have experience, and for those who don't have that much experience, they're going to be able to get the feeling of what it's like to actually be out on the track.
So what do the pros think of the game they've helped to create?
You know, that gate drops is just like the real thing. You go in the first turn, everybody's yelling for the whole shot, just like you are at the real event. You know, it's just awesome. It's like being in a race, but when I fall off the chair because I'm getting too excited, it's just a lot less painful.
Ear-splitting audio isn't the only improvement to this incarnation of the game.
We have a new garage this go-around. Players will actually be able to go in and add new features to the vehicles as far as changing their tires. They'll be able to add logos, change the colors of their vehicles. We've really taken the time to make sure that we've added a lot of content for our online users. We're going more for a clan-based feel, so you and your friends that have come out at the top will be able to create a logo and then all race together. We're going to, have chat. We're going to be supporting the USB headset as well as the keyboard.
And version 3 brings more extreme and more varied terrains.
If it's snow, we look at the way an ATV should handle on that type of terrain, whether or not it's icy or if it's snow and your wheels may sink into that environment. And that also adds into the garage that we've now added, where a user can change from snow tires to sand tires to tires that are best to use on dirt or just mud.
The improvements all add up to an unbelievably realistic experience. Even guys who ride ATVs for real every day can't wait for ATV Off-Road Fury 3.
The jump in, going to the turn so hard, all the big whoops coming out and everything, the timing sections, it's great. I mean, it's so realistic, and we know this one's going to be so much better. That's the thing with ATV Fury 3, is we know it's just going to be bad. Here with that, working at the tracks, we got all the best bikes out here. It's going to be second to none.
a cool game. It just looked kick-ass.
I think it's great. I think it's a very good first-person shooter.
I love it. I just can't wait till it comes out.
These E3 attendees are talking about a new title that is making some big noise in the gaming world. Killzone is a first-person shooter with an interplanetary story.
Killzone's set in a near-future environment in a time of planetary colonization, and it tells the story of a war between these two factions, the ISA, who are forces loyal to Earth, and the Helghast, who are a badass bunch of militaristic dudes.
You're on the front lines, and basically you're fighting a bit of a losing battle. And we go through a bit of intrigue. Effectively, your mission is to take the fight right back to the Helghast and kick them off your planet again.
It's a future world filled with detail and depth that becomes totally immersive.
People will really feel like they're in this world. It's just the whole environment that we created around is really gonna set it apart from the average shooter.
Killzone is not just a game. It's a universe to step into. When you see it, you can just feel it's a little bit different.
There are many ways to fight your battles. You could choose from 4 different playable characters for each level and mix in combinations of real players and AI bots.
Catch your breath! We've got online and offline multiplayer modes, battles between the ISA and the Helghast, so you can take the gameplay from the single player and take it online.
With all these combinations, you'll be able to replay Killzone seemingly forever, and you'll want to keep playing.
It's just the overall intensity and the experience of it. We never slow down the pace, keep the player really kind of addicted and hooked all the way through.
It's very, very fast. It's a roller coaster ride.
Want to go again? We'll have much more on this killer new game when our PlayStation Underground agent in the field reports back from Amsterdam with the goods on Killzone.
This game has not yet been rated.
You're about to begin the greatest moment of your life.
Call of Duty Finest Hour will be a more intense experience for game players because there's no rest. The war never stops.
Join us as we go behind the front lines of the newest installment of the award-winning Call of Duty series, Call of Duty Finest Hour.
Call of Duty Finest Hour is an intense, action-oriented, cinematic look at the experience of World War II.
Currently in production, we join the team in the trenches as they embark on an exhaustive pre-production phase and encounter new challenges in creating this groundbreaking game.
The team felt that it was really important to creatively explore uncharted territory with this title. I think people will see that this is a world they've never been in before, and they're able to have an immersive quality of reality that, to my knowledge, has never been attempted.
The game takes players to the front lines of World War II combat across 4 countries on the Eastern, North African, and Western fronts.
This battlefield opens up and we have 250 guys on screen running up this hill with the chaos of battle and the explosions and that cinematic intensity of the war experience.
For the first time, players will be able to experience the war through the eyes of American, British, and Russian soldiers.
Some are more traditional, like the American GI or the British PPA Commando. Others are roles that I don't think a game has really explored before, like being able to play a Russian female sniper or an African-American tank commander from the famed 761st Black Panther Battalion. Rather than kind of a super soldier's experience in World War II, where an American GI takes on the world, they really wanted to portray a more realistic experience.
An original game designed specifically for console systems, Finest Hour is the brainchild of Spark, comprised with over 30 of the individuals who developed titles in the Medal of Honor series, including several of the production leads.
This team has had a lot of experience in the World War II genre category. Most of them worked on the original Medal of Honor. When we launched Spark, it was really about creating a place that they felt would allow them to do the best work of their careers. Whether it's the sound, whether it's the art, whether it's the animation, design, backgrounds, everybody is intensely invested in making sure that what they contribute to the game is as detailed and authentic and exciting and dynamic as possible.
To meet this goal, Spark mounted an exhaustive research phase before starting production on the game.
We really build our levels on top of a mountain of research to bring to life the voices of these people who lived in those conflicts. So we've talked to military advisors.
I mean, in a disciplined outfit, you'd go nuts if someone pointed the muzzle at you. It's called muzzle control.
Fairly easy adjustment for the animation team.
What has really impressed me is that this development team clearly wants to make sure the foundation of their game is strong.
They really wanted to go to the locations, go to the battlefields, to get a sense of the environments, of the lighting, of the masonry work that went into the construction of the buildings.
The attention to detail in the game is extraordinary.
We are getting audio recordings for a variety of weapons.
So again, as a British submachine gun, this is the Sten Mark II.
Getting the sound right, important part of the sensory experience of the battlefield.
This dedication to realism ensures players will be able to experience the most intense and authentic World War II experience.
We've brought veterans through to spend time with us and really talk about what it was like. Johnny Stevens, who's one of the surviving members of the 761st Battalion, came in and spent a whole week with the team just talking about his experiences.
No tank crew dismounts all at once and leave that tank unprotected. When you are trying to simulate something, you don't want to guess at it. You have to become a part of it. So they're trying to portray the actions of a soldier. So to do this, you must become a soldier, and you have to think like a soldier.
Heading into production, the team is distilling their obsessive research and experiences into a common vision.
We're in the middle of it right now. We're all in the trenches.
However, creating an innovative game comes with its challenges.
We've had to develop so much new technology and so many new systems to handle the scope of the design. We didn't want this to be a world where it's you and a few guys against another couple guys. We wanted it to feel like armies against armies. We wanted to have planes in the skies and boats in the river, and we wanted to have guys charging up the hill on all sides of you.
The team will continue production over the next several months, making this innovative vision a reality.
Get your head down!
Call of Duty: Finest Hour, coming fall 2004.
Not enough powder on the slopes for snowboarding? Too wet outside for skateboarding? Well, be prepared to never have to worry about the terrain again with Harmonix's Antigrav. A whole new way to interact with your PlayStation 2 EyeToy.
Antigrav is a pretty physical game. If you play through a few times, you feel it, which is kind of cool.
We were trying to figure out how much physical exertion we should require from players. In the earlier levels, it's not that hard. You can probably play without breaking too big of a sweat.
Or a player can notch up the difficulty to a much more demanding level in which you will sweat. Because in Antigrav, you jump, you duck, you steer, you spin, you gesticulate with your hands, you do all types of things to get your character to do almost exactly what you're doing.
Used to be the only way to catch some air was to pop off cement curbs and plywood ramps with a skateboard. Well, now there's an entirely new meaning to the phrase, as you're about to stay airborne with hoverboarding.
Hoverboarding in the EyeToy Antigrav world is really an extension of kind of the skater, snowboard cultures of today, kind of projecting them into the future. So there's a board that hovers off the ground, you hop on it and you can ride around. You can kind of carve on the, a couple feet over the surface, whether that's concrete or water or grass, or you can take flight into the air and fly through the air with it.
Since you're hoverboarding, you're already in the air, so moving around and doing crazy things in the air is a little bit more believable within our world.
It's only fitting that this game is brought to you by Harmonix, the toe-tapping leading developer of such music video games as Frequency and Amplitude.
Our core skill, the thing that we're really good at, is designing innovative new games and basically working through the process of coming up with new forms of gameplay.
And we looked at the EyeToy and we saw room for innovation. And we said, okay, Antigrav is going to be something brand new, and that's what we do best.
Unlike previous games, which place the player's image directly on screen, Antigrav's creators have engineered a refreshing new spin on the EyeToy experience.
In EyeToy Antigrav, you're seeing a character on screen that you're controlling in a marionette type fashion with your movements. So you're moving in your living room, your character on screen is almost mimicking what you're doing, but in a way that lets them interact with the 3D world they're in.
Looking to go beyond traditional mini-games utilized by many EyeToy products, Antigrav has deep gameplay elements that will keep your heart pounding.
Antigrav has two major play modes, speed and style. Style is essentially points mode, where you get points for rail grinding. There's targets arrayed around the rail, and you've got to reach your hands out to grab them. And if you hit a series of them called combos, then you get big points.
Speed mode is essentially a standard racing game. It's you against a bunch of other players, AIs, in the game, who are racing along with you, and time is it. You're trying to get to the end of the course as fast as possible.
In order to accrue points in style mode and get boost in speed mode, you'll need to save some of your strength to pull off tricks.
We put a lot of work into making the trick system fun but really accessible. Basically, if you get some air, there's a few basic gestures that you can do to trigger different tricks. For instance, if you sweep both your arms up, you do a backflip. If you just sweep up one arm, you do a left or right cartwheel.
If you really want to get them going, spin your arm fast the first time and then do it multiple times more, and you'll really get spinning around, like these incredible spins going.
One of our goals in the trick system was to make the trick system really feel like you are doing the tricks. We really wanted you to feel like, hey, I'm moving my arms, and there's my guy moving his arms, and that's what's causing the trick to happen.
To land a trick, you basically just freeze, and as soon as it stops seeing arm input, then it stabilizes you and you drop out.
The game's designers have amped up the airborne objectives, allowing you to take flight in a brand new way. Just don't forget to breathe.
You're cruising through the level, you'll hit a launch pad, you'll jump up, now you're flying. So you're on your hoverboard, but you're flying through the air, trying to go through rings. Each ring you go through gives you point boost and speed boost. And now when you're flying through the air, you're using your head to control, and it's kind of like a magic carpet ride.
I think this is one of the most fun parts of the game because you really feel like you're flying. You have to go through these rings because the rings give you more power. And if you avoid some rings, you're probably going to slow down a bit and you're not going to do that well in the game.
Through the use of body recognition technology, the design team was pushing the envelope for player interactivity in a decidedly unique way, winning the most innovative design award from this year's E3 show.
What we're using is something called motion sensing. What we do is take that video image of you coming in from the EyeToy and we analyze it 60 times a second to detect where your head is and where your hands are. And with that information, we have all we need in order to completely control a character in the game.
By combining a fresh concept, truly unique character control and gameplay, and innovative award-winning design, EyeToy Antigrav is sure to take skate, snow, and hoverboarders to amazing new heights.